No sound, no sound.
Now, okay, welcome back to Happy Thursday, Justicles, and it is a good Thursday indeed. We're better. Okay, everyone. Okay. They can hear me. You can hear me. That's good. That's good. Okay. It's a good Thursday indeed because we have a special guest. But before we mention the special guest, I want to remind you that G3 Global Gloving Gauntlet Battleground is happening in February, towards the end of February. So if you haven't already secured your tickets for the event, go check it out at yougotmoves.com/G3. So check out the battlegrounds. It's happening soon. Also, smash that like button and share the stream because we have the specialist of guests, the headmaster of the Gloving Academy himself, the one, the only, Poopit, the master. Okay, turn on your camera, Poopit. You are here.
Okay,
He is here.
Let me turn that on. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, hello. Welcome to the stream.
Okay.
It's the man himself.
I'm the principal.
The principal of Gloving, the headmaster, Mr. Dumbledore himself. How you doing, buddy?
What's good, Justicles? What's up, everybody?
Things are good. We've got quite a bit of people in the stream already here to see you. Got 11 concurrents.
Yes,
so there's a disparity here, though. Y'all need to smash that like button on behalf of the puppet master here, the master puppet.
Your fist and smash your left mouse button, guys, or tap that shit right now.
Head of the table. Mr. Wicked says head of the table. Well, smash it for the good, smash it for evil, smash it for whatever alignment on the chart you adhere to. But it's good to see you on the just very crispy image you got there. What kind of camera you got?
Yes, sir. Hey, last stream, bro, I heard you had the A7 III.
No
right?
way. That's correct. Yeah.
I was like, huh. That inspired me.
No
I'm
way.
Use my A7S III.
Oh no way. He's got the S in there too. That one's like $2,000 more than I wanted to spend on a camera, which is fair. I think it's got good stuff involved in it though. So
it's stupid overkill, but I'm rocking the fisheye and I dig the fisheye. And so, like, this shit's like a 12 mil, so it's like fucking huge, bro. You can see from like wall to wall.
I technically bought. How much was your fisheye that you bought?
This one's 200.
Really?
So it's very,
was it the Rokinon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
See, I found one that was $123, so I bought it, and I was just like, let's see if this works, and I really haven't even used it yet. So.
What brand?
I can't even. You know what? I have the box around here somewhere.
Well, I believe GoPro lenses are
Brightening Star.
What the
Brightening Star. I'm sure it's some knockoff lens that's just like, it's listen, it could be good, it could be garbage. I haven't even tried it yet. All I know is I bought a $800 lens and a $100 lens because I was like, well, it's like $100. It's like a free lens. Like, come on.
Dude, I love your mindset, dude. Throughout the years of gloving, I just fell in love with the GoPro look. So I was like, okay, I need that GoPro look. So I was like, yeah,
it's
GoPro lens is like I believe it's like 8 or 9 millimeters or some stupid width like that. So this one's 12. I was like, okay, that's good enough.
Right. It's something about that space. Like this is not enough when I had my 70 Mark II and the Rokinon lens on that, I would be able to go like this and touch the lens and then go like this and have 2 feet on either side of me in order to work with. And all of it was in focus. And I was just like, you know, this is great.
Yeah,
so.
That sounds about right. Yeah, fisheye lenses are no one really uses it nowadays in the industry, but for gloving, yeah, I'm all about that.
It makes sense to have a fisheye for gloving, that's for sure. So how's the academy going? How's your students? How's the gloving life treating you?
Yeah, man. So I mean, I'm pretty happy, dude. Like, first of all, I didn't even. Well, okay. There's 2 parts to it, right? There's like Discord, and then there's a Patreon. The Patreon is doing awesome. So like, there's about 50 plus students that has been subscribed to the Patreon. Shout outs to all my Patreon members. Like, honestly, you guys are freaking so awesome. And we've had some like pretty long members in there too. Like so they're in it for like the long run. But the Discord was something I didn't even consider. Shoutouts to VO because I felt like I didn't even know how crazy like customizable Discord was. At first, I was just gonna keep it to like a Facebook group because I'm freaking old school, right? Like throughout my decade of gloving, I'm like, yeah, bro, let's make a Facebook group and I'll just make the announcements on there. But like Discord, it's like it legitimately gives me all the powers that I've always wanted to do. So I kind of it's cool to just have like its own thing, you know, like its own little community that's consistently growing every single day. And you know, it's fun. It's fun because I get to host events on there because like over time, like if you were to do that on Facebook, yeah, it's like there for like a little bit and then it just gets lost in the oceans of posts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
JJ
so
says
like,
Discord is king, and he's absolutely right. It's like if your social media channel was video and audio based, and everything about this channel makes Zoom and Skype wish they would have, you know?
yeah, and it's like an own little app or like its own little website, right? With all these little quirks about it. And so I'm pretty happy about it. And I'm trying to host more events on there. I think what's like the most fun thing about it is that I could just be like, okay, this is an event, and then on Discord it clearly shows that it's an event that's gonna happen. And I think just that kind of like that mindset is it's pretty fun. It's a little bit different compared to saying, hey guys, we're hosting this thing. It's like, no, bro, like event. That sounds fun. Let me join that, you know?
Plus,
And
you
so,
will always have direct access to the people who actually want to pay attention to your content through Discord. Like anyone who's actually engaged in your community, you will have direct access to their attention at any time. So that's something that Facebook doesn't give you. That's something that Instagram doesn't give you. No other app really gives you that access to your community like Discord does. So shouts out to Discord, and plug your Discord. Drop the link in the chat if you want to.
yeah,
if you guys want to join the Discord for Gloving Academy, that is what you can do.
Put that in the chat right there. Go ahead and join, guys. Yeah, we're not quite there at the boost goal yet, where we could have our own customizable link, but who knows? Maybe this year we'll be able to reach that. Because right now it's just a random link, and that link always changes. And so, hopefully this year.
All right. So what you been labbing on? What those fingers do?
Bro, I've been labbing on everything, dude. Like,
he's back.
Like, I've been labbing
on crypt.
I'm probably like what's been consuming most of my bandwidth are threads or like digital folds, because I feel like besides Genghis Wrath or Seaway or what's his name? I forgot. He's from Australia. There's very few work done on threads, but like, okay, it's kind of like if you get to this level in gloving where you want to like learn like digits and scales and liquids, you slowly start to realize that shit is like all the same, bro. Like it's all the same. Because
the more you differentiate, I like that. The more you differentiate concepts, the more you start to realize it's all just your fingers bending in half. Yeah, like that's it. That's all you're doing is closing your fingers.
It's all the same, bro. Yeah, I have actually a funny thought about that. But like, yeah, what boggled my mind pretty recently was just like, the fact that like, okay, if you were to do something like this and, you know, just like a bend like this, okay, and then you just put it through the line and then you make contact and then you keep doing that throughout each individual finger, and then like you implement like more grid with it, and then like you just keep connecting. It's like, dude, I've been all over that stuff lately, and I'm just addicted to it. And it's like a different type of concept where it's like more feelsy based than it is visual based, because there's a pressure that you have to do when you do this, you know what I mean? Like there's a pressure. It's like I'm not thinking of it as digiting up. I'm thinking of it as pushing down and pushing up. I'm
Right.
like hooking. And then so like feeling that, like that is like a feel based concept. So like I've been really like on that shit lately. It's pretty weird, and you know, it sounds pretty like crazy, like woke or some shit, but like it's really you can't explain it, bro. You have to feel it.
Dave goes, it took you 12 years to figure out it's about bending your fingers. You know what, Dave? Listen, I wrote a whole book about gloving, and it didn't occur to me that it was about bending your fingers, okay? So relax. We're still learning.
Dude, I feel like we're like close to the ceiling though. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think about it, I'm like, okay, so there's that, and then there's threads, and then there's like scales, and then like there's like, okay,
There really
macro
hasn't been a concept to consume everybody as a new wave. And I sense clusters, really sense clusters. And I agree. Like, I kind of hate that, but I also am kind of proud of that I was the last one to put something forward. But you know, it wasn't all me. Obviously, clusters we're a massive group effort, starting with 5 of the CC boys. So
yeah, no, yeah, yeah, definitely you guys deserve all the credit for that. We blame you, and we also blame you for that's what everyone is doing.
That's what
And then
everyone
so
is doing. My cluster tutorial on YouTube has actually the most views out of anything on my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure. So it has like 7,000 or 8,000 views right now. Wow. Well, I mean, that's not the biggest thing on my channel, but it's like the biggest gloving thing on my channel. That's for sure.
I see.
Yeah.
That's awesome though, because like, yeah, I mean, when clusters started to become a thing, like you really saw the skills of like the glover really start to shift. Like the normal average glover now, like that's what gloving is for like most people now, you know what I mean? Is like clusters.
Right.
And then so like you guys, that it's really interesting to see that sort of like mentality just shift over time, or like just the tech mentality.
Well, the unique thing about clusters as a uniquely gloving technique is that it follows the same aesthetic principles as whips and flails. Because whips and flails, they focus on the fingertips in order to make the illusions. Clusters are focusing on the fingertips in order to make the illusions. We're creating more like connect the dots-esque, draw by number type of illusions, but it still focuses primarily on the isolation points that your fingers are creating with the lights themselves. And so it is, in that sense, one of the most uniquely gloving techniques, maybe only with the exception of impacting being more uniquely gloving than clusters, because you can still do clusters without gloves on. You can't do impacts without the I know if it's on your hands. Like, that doesn't work.
Use a flashlight.
Right. So
what do you think about this? Like, isn't it interesting that essentially all you're doing is stacking?
Is there more to that, or is that that's the end of the? Yeah, you're right. You're right, because essentially what you're doing is you're stacking and ordering in grid lines, but there's too much words to say. I mean, it just becomes clusters.
I thought about this, but like if you really think about it, like things like I'm talking about today, but like today's definition of like morphing, like you could go as far as saying it derived off stacks.
Yeah, I mean,
derived off stacks. Isn't that weird? Isn't that odd?
I mean, yeah, every single gloving concept that has stayed the test of time was birthed out of basically 3 or 4 concepts. So that kind of tracks in my mind. But the morphing thing is like a transitional thing. So morphing, you could be morphing with any concepts, right?
Right.
Not just
anything goes, right?
Right.
Yeah, but then it's like, because I thought about it, right? It's like, I mean, if you really think about, like, if you look at my fingers, like, okay, like a dial is doing a 180-degree stack, okay? Like a pinch is like stacking your fingers together, and then like I'm technically connecting or stacking. I'm technically stacking. I'm technically stacking.
Right.
And then clusters, I'm technically stacking on clusters. So it's like, it's very interesting. I mean, I get it.
It becomes
It
becomes very very detail oriented stacking. Yeah, I mean that's essentially what you're doing, is stacking and ordering very very small. But because before I called it clusters, I did this move and called it the 9-point grid isolation matrix, and I was like, that's too many fucking words, bro. Like there's way too many words, and it's like, well, what the fuck does it look like? It looks like a clusterfuck. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it really, no, it's a great name for a concept though. But I think it's really important to be able to. I think that it is a great name for a concept, because it's like, that's not a cluster, right? And so it's a very unique movement, and that it really opened my brain to like thinking about just thinking about concepts in general, and how to create specific rules in order for it to be a concept. Because I'm just playing like some like this random example, right? So
it all dials back to geometry for me. Like if you use the word square to describe a shape, and then you use, well, in order to describe a rectangle, you would say, well, it's a square, but 2 of the sides are longer. It's the same concept. Like, well, you're stacking, but it's stacking with this extra layer of thing on top of it. So now it's no longer just stacking. All squares or all rectangles can be squares, but not all squares can be, or whatever the one is. I don't know, man. You know.
Okay, so think about this. Okay, so if like a dial is like having to do a 180-degree turn into a stack, then what about a 179-degree rotation?
Well, I just think the rotation, I don't think the degrees is the important thing. I think however many rotations you're doing, that's a dial. Like that's the dial part. You add as many stack parts into it as you want to, but the rotating the around each other, that's the dial part for me.
Okay, look at this.
Fuck. Is that a dial? God damn it.
You know, I think about this shit all the time. I'm like, okay.
Does that qualify? No. I mean, no, because you're rotating your wrists around each other, I guess. So does that count?
Is it like a flail? Is that a dial?
I mean,
am I driving?
Wrist rotation is not the same as finger rotation, right? So we've determined that we're there. But like, to what level is it different? Well, wrist rotation becomes whips, right?
Right.
Or flails.
Right.
Or tuts.
Whether we figure that out today or later, that's what I'm saying though, is that type of like mindset where it's like, okay, if you're getting deep and that specific, then it kind of opens your brain to like, wow, now you can play with like the logic of it, or like you can play with like one variable of it, and then it could be a completely different concept. Because yeah, I would say it is fair to say that, you know, dials and clusters are they're, even though they're pretty similar, they're still different.
They're different enough to warrant saying one is X and one is Y. It's for sure.
Yes.
They're different enough to say, well, a cluster is a dial, except you do this differently. That's for sure.
Exactly. So this is I guess this is kind of like partly of where I'm trying to like lead the conversation as well, is because I feel like we're really close to, or maybe we've already done it, I don't know, like discovering every little basic concept, even down to like its movement. to now where we can like we have all the basic movements down. It's like it's all out there, right? So now comes like splicing it with every single concept out there, and I feel like that's the next phase of gloving. Like we've got this far to establish all these singular concepts. Now we combine them all, we mix and match, and we bastardize impacting, we bastardize morphing with conjures, we bastardize everything, and like that is like gonna take forever, you know?
Yep. No, I mean that's the math is certainly there. I've always described it as, you know, permutations of tricks, and the fact of the matter is there's more than there's more concepts and movement types than there are digits 0 to 9. There's more. So there's in that same sense, there's more integers in the math of hands than there are integers in the math of numbers. So have fun with that little brain teaser.
Like, bro, yeah, well, I don't know what you just said, bro. I'm like, yeah, 999.
There's more units. There's more multiplication to be doing here with the fingers than there are with numbers. So good luck with that one.
What about you? Have you been like in the lab at all? Like
Thursdays are my lab days, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Honestly, no, I have not been labbing too hard. I've been focused a little too much on lightsabers. I'm trying to tell myself that in this year I'm going to do more focus for it towards the gloving, but we'll see how it goes. So
yeah, man, like, yeah, I mean, I really respect that you're super consistent with the streams on YouTube, bro, because I mean, you know, it's very inspiring because like you've been, and bro, you posted like your I can't stop 12-year video, and like I'm like I'm like, yeah, man, I can't stop either. 12 years, bro. Like it's really hard to find just like that type of glover, you know what I'm saying? Like
there's very few of us. There's a lot of people who pick up gloves, but there's very few of us who actually look at this with any type of vision for the future, and that's sad, and it also makes it a lot harder on us because there aren't that many of us, you know.
Yeah, like we need to, there's got to be some like risk taker out there to be proved like, yeah, it's gonna happen. You know what's interesting? I posted an Instagram story the other day, and I did a poll. And I was like, okay, what kind of glovers do I have as followers? And then like I was like, okay, what type of glover are you? So like the first option was like event glover. The second option was like, yeah, I like put on the gloves sometimes. Third one was I'm a retired glover. I'll put it on sometimes. And then the last one was like gloving is life, right? Guess which one won?
Retired glover?
No. Event glover.
Event glover. No, that tracks. That honestly tracks.
Yeah. So I thought it was really interesting, you know, that like majority of the people that this is just specifically people who looked at my story. So I'm not sure if it's a legitimate survey or not, but like the fact that one to me just said like, wow, like the majority of glovers are people that do it when they go to events. Like they're random ass people who buy gloves and they just go to events and they do it. They're not the people on GL. They're not the people on GL because it could be so like it could shift your mental to where like when you get into GL, you feel like every glover is in GL. You know what I'm saying?
Nick Carterell says, washed up glover points me. Listen, Nick. We all feel that in our bones, okay? I'm 12 years in here. At this point, if I'm not washed up, what am I?
Bro, you're not washed, bro. You're statistically the highest placing glover in the recency of gloving comps, bro. You can't be like, what are you saying? You're not washed.
Where's my belt? Go get my belt quick.
Where's your belt, bro? Where is the belt? Where is the belt?
It's in the front seat somewhere. Let me go grab it.
Oh, dude, you drive the front seat like you don't. Your girlfriend isn't even next to you when you're driving. It's the belt.
You guys making all of the fruits battle the captains and get a badge. It's a question.
What? What happened? so and I know so many persons could play with the world's best glowers. Let his life though. Gloving is life, bro.
I have been informed the belt is somewhere that is known, but it is being pulled out of its holding facility. But yeah, no,
what did you say?
I said the belt is being pulled out of its holding facility. The lady knows where it is, so she's gonna grab it for me.
Got you.
But yeah, I mean, I guess now if you put it like that, technically speaking, I have won more money than most people in this sport.
Yeah.
So
maybe
you know,
maybe you're the guy who's won the most. No.
It's gotta be between me and Teddy and Mumbles, maybe.
How much did boss winners win?
That's the question. Is I don't know how much cash at the time boss winners were winning,
$100.
and Teddy's won so many things that like it's probably him. Here it is.
$100. Yeah, that. Oh, dude, that thing looks sweet, dude. That's sick, dude. How heavy is that thing?
It's like 2 pounds, maybe.
It's
2
heavy.
pounds? Oh man,
it's good. It's a good solid weight to it.
I gotta tell you a story, bro, because I did this shoot for this freaking crazy ass like family. They live in Hawaii, so I don't know if you heard of One Championship, but I don't know if you like. Basically, it's Asia's UFC. It's bigger than UFC actually.
Gotcha.
And then so I shot like a promo vid for the champions. I've done like 10 promos for them.
Nice.
And I got to hold that freaking belt. And one time I like dropped it, bro.
Oh no. That's terrifying.
Like the champion, they looked at me and like gave me a look. I'm like, oh shit. Luckily, nothing happened to the belt,
That's
dude.
good.
I almost lost my life.
No scuffs. Otherwise, they would have made you their belt. They would have wrapped you around their waist like a belt.
Dude, oof. They could have easily done that. maybe my flails would be better if they did that.
Yeah, get the ligaments loose. Skylar G says, as much as I'd like to, gloving hasn't clicked for me the way other flow arts have. Mad appreciation for it. That shit is hard. You know, the thing about gloving is it's so there's so many like dichotomies to it. First of all, starting with it's so complicated, but most people only see the surface level of it, and most people don't get as good as they can with it. Also, it's so interesting, but it can only be really viewed by one person at a time. So it's so slow to spread out too. There's just so much to it that is just like fighting itself. It's fighting itself. It really is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I mean, like the deeper you go too, it's just then it's kind of like it comes full circle. You know what I mean? Like the deeper you go, then you realize, man, this shit is actually freaking advanced. Like you get to a point where you get good enough, and then like you're like, yeah, like it's not that hard,
right?
Like, if you just practice. But then like when you start to realize like everything is everything, and every concept could be any concept, then it's like, what the fuck, like.
The second you start getting into the place where you can splice concepts together that most people think are diametrically opposed, that's when it starts getting a little weird up in here. That's for sure.
Yeah, like the most this is probably last year and this year, but it's probably the years where I've thought about gloving conceptually the most, because you get to see it from like a wider angle, like looking at each individual concept as in like a wide angle. And then like I've never put so much thought into each individual concept before. In fact, in the Gloving Academy Discord, there's like a channel in here, right? There's a channel in here called the Gloving Skill Tree, and in that forum, I basically tried to make a video. I recorded, like, because I have to show examples of each concept, right? So, like, in here, there's, like, wave tutting, conjuring, pinching, liquid, flails, whips, impact. Like, literally every concept is on there. Every main concept in gloving. And, like, I literally sat down and record each of this concept in one sitting. Shit took, like, probably 2 hours. Like, 30 seconds to a minute of just that concept alone. And then like you start to realize that like wave tutting is pretty similar to morphing, whatever my rendition of morphing was at the time. Like there are elements with it that feels the same. Like, and it's kind of trippy. You ever just sat down and did every single concept in one sitting? Like it's kind of bizarre.
I
to,
have
like, feel
attempted
that.
to do such a thing, and my ADHD would not let me. But no, that tracks. I mean, when you really start to try to differentiate everything, the more everything's going to just start blending together, and you start to realize, well, we've made a bunch of different names for things that are vaguely the same thing.
Right. But isn't it interesting that when you do, there's a formulation, like that idea exists in your head? Isn't that weird?
Elaborate.
Like, okay, like we can sit here and talk about all the different concepts that morphing can encompass, right? And but like everyone, you could argue that like morphing doesn't exist, or if it's just transitions at that point. But then when you think of morphing, then that idea exists in your head, and then you move like you were morphing. You know what I mean?
So you're saying morphing exists as as almost like a catalyst idea to create something that doesn't exist in the first place.
It could, yeah, you could, because you could argue that like morphing is like transitioning.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Here's the way I describe morphing, right? So there's two kinds of speeds. First of all, there's how fast you can move through space, but then there's also how fast you transition. Morphing is moving through transitions of concepts so fast that you can't tell the difference between the movements. You can't tell where the transitions are. You can't tell where the technique or the combo starts and ends. It is just one continuous fluid morph of transition techniques.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe morphing.
Right.
So it's super sped up transitions. That's what I would describe it morphing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like it's super fast transitions, right? So it's like, right, yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. It's like when you have the word morphing in there, it makes you move like you want to morph, right?
Right.
Like it's like, okay, let's do boating, bro. Let's do boating.
Let's do boating. Move like you're a boat.
Yeah, like you're gonna move like a boat. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's interesting. I think it's an interesting.
How would you boat?
Experiment.
Glove boating. How do you boat? Do you do liquid with something floating on it?
How would you do a boat, bro? Show me your boat.
My boat would. So you got your liquid, right, and then your thing that's just flowing on top of it, right? There's your boat. Do you make your whirlpool and your thing that's spinning in the whirlpool?
Like this would be my boating, bro. I don't know if you can see my thing. Like, yeah, like a rotating, like, okay, you got to be doing a liquid, but you got to be doing like an isolated, like
got your motor too, got your propeller going.
Dude, no, actually, look at this move, bro. I came up with this shit pretty recently. It's my bread and butter, dude. But think about this. It's like it's a pedal, but like with a thumb flail. You see that? Dude, it's like a motorboat.
So
dude.
You got your anti-flails going with the thumbs. I got it.
The thumbs, but like exactly. But it's almost kind of like a platform in here, right?
Sure.
Because it's like the motorboat, and then like you add like your pointer, dude. Like your pointer flail, your pointer whips. You know what I'm saying?
And Dave said you thought there were no more moves to be discovered. See, here's the thing. That's why I'm saying there's more integers. There's 10 integers for numbers. There's not 10 moves. There's more than 10 moves. There's more than 10 movement types. So now we have to multiply all those movement types against themselves and then create lines of that. There's so much more math to be done than the actual math. There's so much.
Not only that, but like we're like mainly gloving in like one plane. You know what I mean? Like you, the audience. But like, there's barely any work done where you're like gloving the opposite, because then there's that angle where it's like you're giving yourself a shield that they're not exposed to.
Oh yeah,
so, like,
the perspective is another integer that adds another four things to multiply to it, because the second you have one direction, you have 2 directions, 3 directions, 4 directions. Everything is multiplicatable.
Dude, what do you think about like gloving competitions and light modifications? Because throughout time, the reason why I'm saying this is because you had the wrist lights, right? Which I think are like it's amazing. Like that like let's look at Mimic, right? Mimic had the backlights. What was that? IGC like 2013 or 12 or some shit. I forget. I should really know this. But do you remember 14 or whatever? But light modification has been a thing since the freaking very beginning with like palm lights and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that like, because I mean, I'm an advocate for always trying to discover new shit, right?
Right.
But like in terms of competitions, do you think that that is the way to go with like adding?
Do I think the standard 10 lights are sufficient enough to win a competition? If I do,
Sure,
but
sure.
do I personally think that adding a little something to your glove set in a competition is for the best? Yeah, absolutely I do. But I'll also get dressed up in all white with the white contacts and the white out glove set in order to completely intimidate the entire room. That's different. Like, no, honestly, here's the thing. I think that there is going to be a point where you have to balance out what you can fill your gloves with and what you can still perform with.
Yeah.
But in that same sense, I think wrist lights, I had the first idea to put lights on the inner sock of your wrist.
Yeah.
In 2014, I had that idea. This is not a new idea. I posted a video about it in 2014. I used to go to my first shows I would go to with that setup. And it wasn't until I had like 9 sets of easy lights that I was like, this is actually feasible now. I have enough batteries to be able to do this. This is fun. But no, it really is. It adds so much depth to the light show to have something on your wrists. And that's what everybody has told me who's seen the wrist light setup is, this is a really good idea. But if your question is, should we try to keep stepping outside the box and what you add to your glove set? I mean, that just really comes down to what do you think you can still perform with? Like I said before,
I agree.
Like if you just put your entire back of your hand with LED chips, like what happens then? Like what does that look like?
Roboting.
Right? Like, are you just gonna tut the whole time and it looks cool because your whole hand looks like a fucking LCD screen? Like,
hey, who knows? Okay. Here's another question. When is it too far, you think? Because okay, like, so this is what I've been. This is what I've been.
The question.
That's the question, because I've been thinking about like abstracting recently. I'm sure you've heard of abstracting, have you?
Yeah. So the ideas of like taking your gloves off and putting your one hand into the idea of abstracting is doing things that are counterintuitive with the gloves, right?
Yes. Because the reason why I say this is because you talked about like the idea that you had back in 2014, right?
Right.
In my first gloving competition, I did abstracting where I put my thumbs in the glove, like back in like 2000, like what was it, like 2012, 2013. And then but then people will view abstracting like this new thing, right? But then like the thing about abstracting is that there's also other things that involve like light manipulation, like the physical manipulation of the light. And then so I'm like thinking like, how far would it be if I were to do this in a comp where I physically take my light, I'll pull it, and then do this angle, and then now I have like that angle, right? I'm doing a trick, but I have this angle now, like, you know what I mean? Like, is that too far? Do you think that is too far?
That's a good question, because if you can pull off a move where you go, oh, I made my light turn off. But that's the thing. That's the other thing is, are you gonna fuck up your light set? There's so much to doing new concepts. The only correct answer is can you do it cleanly? Period. Can you do it cleanly? That's it. Can you do it cleanly? Because if you can't do it cleanly, if you fuck something up, then you're
obvious. Yeah, of course.
You're just it's a detriment to your own show.
Yeah.
It comes down to, if you're going to push the envelope, you need to do it in a way that nobody can complain about it.
Yeah. Dude, Daniel Frazier is not too far, dude. I agree, bro. I feel like, dude, oh man, I hope we don't start like let me abstract and change my thing, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Change my light in all competitions, and that's the meta. Because then there's that, you know what I mean? If that becomes acceptable, then there's that. Now there's all these angles of your lights being distorted,
it's just another integer to add to the math, bro.
It's just
more things to multiply your concepts by. See, it comes down to, what can you do that is unique and recognizably enough unique, but also done cleanly enough that it's not just like, oh, well, he seems like he's fucking up and fiddling with his gloves while he's trying to do a light show. I absolutely love this comment by Daniel. His hands just play a video of a light show on an LCD screen. Does that count as a light show? Let me just play a laser fucking show on little TVs on my hands. Does that count? Is that too far?
Just put a rave on there.
Right. That's where it really, I mean, that's gonna be the questions that the American Gloving Committee is gonna have to answer when this shit goes to the Olympics. That's the answer. That's the only that's the only
B-boy
answer.
just got I think B-boy's finally gotten to the Olympics recently. Oh, we've got a long way, man.
We've got 100 years till we're in the Olympics, guys.
100 years. VR.
We've got time. The first VR Olympics, gloving.
You'll be like tracks. The Abraham Lincoln of gloving, bro.
7 years ago, I wiggled my fingers for the very first time.
Dude, what if like if you think of like the peak of gloving, like what if we're just like in the earliest stages of gloving, and you're literally the equivalent of Abraham Lincoln of gloving, bro?
Dog, I would love to consider myself the Tony Hawk of gloving, rather.
Tony Hawk. Why Tony Hawk?
Because nobody doesn't like Tony Hawk, dog. Like, everybody likes Tony Hawk.
Everybody likes I don't know one guy that doesn't actually like Tony Hawk. Actually,
wait, what?
No, I don't know anyone guy. I don't know anybody who doesn't like Tony Hawk.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you said I'm the one guy who doesn't like Tony Hawk. I'm like, bro, how do you have beef with Tony Hawk? Like, what'd he do? Did he kick your dog? Like, I don't get it. But no, like Tony Hawk has this like just reputation in skateboarding of being the guy. He's not the guy who invented it, right? But when you think of skateboarding, who do you think of?
Yeah, Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk. Right? So, I don't know. That's always been my... here's the thing. There's a couple people in our community who could definitely be considered that. And the only reason I like to throw my name out there is because I wrote a book, and that's about it. So.
Is there another book coming out or what?
I should do an update, but I've got like 2-3 boxes of the books left to get rid of before I want to even think about doing another.
What would you even update it with? Like what would be like if
I would add more stories. I would add more interviews, basically. I would update the dictionary, basically the gloving dictionary.
Yeah.
I would update the technology list, because obviously more things have come out since 2020. I might take the first chapter of Why completely out of the book because it's a little superfluous at this point. But I also might, there's a couple of things that I could do to make it worthwhile making a second, edition. I don't think I would make like a sequel type of book, but it would definitely be gloving, mastering the art of gloving edition 2, updated, revised, whatever.
Who would you interview again?
Well, it wouldn't be again. It would just be more.
Again,
yeah. I would add more to them. I just, there was believe it or not, I got a third of the interviews that I wanted to get.
Wow.
One that I really wanted to get that I never got. I talked to him once and then he never got back to me about it. Was J-Funk. I really, really, really want his story inside that book for sure. But he's busy and doing actual movie shit. So. Very slim chance that I could get his time. So.
Right. I mean, besides him, like who else would you try and get on there? Drop some names, because I'm interested. Because it makes me think about who I would want to reach out to.
Well,
if I were to interview them too.
I've got your interview in there, so that's the only reason I didn't.
No, I meant like other people. Like I would be interested in interviewing them too myself.
Oh, I got you. I understand what you're saying. I don't have a specific list at the moment. All I know is the list that I made back in the day. I got not even close to a third of the interviews as that. To fill up that list, so I could revisit that list and see if I could get any contacts. I would also probably talk more to less known individuals in the community, because the first pass I did, I tried to talk to people who are definitely the more influential pioneers, people doing the things. Mm-hmm. But I'd be interested in talking to the little guys too. Obviously, it just comes down to how much more time do I want to put into interviews.
You gotta talk to the guys who has the go for it.
Someone says I should expand the theory, and that's probably a Gloving Paradigm says expand the theory, and that's a given. I mean, at this point, there's definitely more theories, and I feel like you could probably write a book on theory alone. So nudge nudge, wink wink. If you're looking for a project.
Bro, I'm not writing a book. I'll write document, not a home bunk, man. What's the group? Where's that group of godlike glovers again? Philippines, Vietnam, both. Philippines has a great scene right now. Those guys get paid to glove at gigs, yo.
That's dope.
And I know Vietnam is still, bro. There's this team, bro. Oh man, what was it? They entered in Flowtron, and there's this Vietnam team that's freaking bonkers, dude. There's this one guy. Fuck, what was his name? Freaking high-ass caliber. Oh, I can't remember his,
You're not thinking of Long, obviously.
No, it's not Long, dude. There's this one dude where I'm like, yo, that guy.
My favorite thing about Long is he was just like, I'm the best glover, and then went and was like, now I'm the best rapper, and he's just killing it over there.
Yeah, dude.
Love that. Oh, man.
He'll post on GL. I'm sure you know. He'll post on GL randomly. And I'm like, yep, I gotta drop everything that I'm doing right now and peep this Long video.
Right.
Like he just posts randomly,
just randomly drops the hottest heat ever for no reason.
Dude, did I tell you this? Oh yeah, I did. I told you this on your stream. I saw a video of Vex.
Oh yeah, you got that video handy?
I got the video.
We should watch it.
But it was muted. Oh, it was muted, so I was like, "Oh fuck, dude! Like I can't." But that guy's alive. Are there any glovers that you try to keep up with, or well, maybe not try to keep up with, but like any glovers who you wish were still gloving and like?
Man, I wish every glover was still gloving. I wish all the glovers. I wish all the glovers could be friends and nobody fought ever. And we could all go to IGC like it's 2014 and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. But man, I don't know. Like,
why we gotta fight, man?
There's so many people that I wish still held passion for this little weird finger hobby that we do. But man, there's just so many things in life to do, and finger lights are not paying the bills for most of us. So, I get it. I really get it.
Yeah, I was about to say this is a good segue into what I was about to say earlier. Maybe you should, if you ever do a second book, you got to talk to those TikTok guys who have a bunch of subscribers on their lives, man, making $500+ on TikTok lives.
Right.
Do you know about those guys?
Yeah, there's a couple of people out there who are doing it, and just like all they do is I wanted to do that, and here's the thing, I could absolutely make that kind of money if I had a consistent place to do my streams, and that is going to probably happen here within the next month or so. So I'm gonna start doing more consistent TikTok streams. I'm also gonna start looking into cross streaming from YouTube onto Facebook and Twitch at the same time, so that my audience gets a little bit bigger.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm here for it. But like, yeah, man, isn't it crazy that's possible?
It's possible, man. I mean,
it's possible, dude.
You can do the weirdest fucking shit on TikTok and somehow get a stream following for it, and the fact of the matter is Gloving is the weirdest fucking shit. So like,
it's perfect for TikTok, bro. It's perfect for TikTok. I'm telling you, bro. People have bowls of water with a bunch of plastic balls in them, and they have these little spoons, and they move them all around. They jiggle the balls, and guess what? People watch. Thousands of people watch, and they subscribe to that shit. ASMR.
Insanity.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
insanity.
It's insanity, bro. Like, what the heck? So Gloving is literally like the perfect thing for that. It's just so untapped.
Wait, they pay the bills for some? There's a couple of people who have done a pretty good job of it, and you know what? There's just it needs to be more consistent. So the question I have is, do I keep doing? Do I keep the same channel and just start doing Gloving streams and lightsaber streams on the same TikTok? That's the question.
I had a digital marketer friend who told me that that's a pretty common thought process to want to have to start all over. But many channels who are still consistent, they started off with something completely like irrelevant to their current their niche. So you should
never like start over, just grow the same thing.
Yes, your true fans will stick with you no matter what you do.
That's true. I like that.
Plus,
I like that.
Yeah. How many, keep your following, because, like, man, I've seen some big channels, 100,000 followers on, like, Instagram, just completely change your niche, and it's, like, it's still good, you know what I mean? Chances are there's still people who relate to what you're doing, and so, that's
true.
Yeah, combine them. Interesting.
All right, we're in the last few minutes of the stream, so you know what we need to do now. We need to throw a double. We need to get a light show from the boy here. We need to.
Yeah, I'm down, bro.
First, you have to do the thing. You have to glove upside down. That's the rule.
Bro, okay, there. You happy? I'll glove upside.
Does that count? Does that count? I don't know.
Dude, my brain, my blood is going to my brain, bro. It counts.
All right, it counts. It counts. All right, so I think we can do the start an activity in order to get a song for you.
Oh, you mean the dreaded start an activity, the thing that barely works?
Yeah, the thing that barely works. Do you have a song that might questionably be able to listen to?
Doing It Right, Daft Punk, Kid Remix, version 2. If that's on YouTube.
Kid Remix.
Let me make my camera darker, so like.
Doing it right, Daft Punk. Yeah, look, there it is, right there.
Okay, wait.
And it even plays. Wow.
Whoa, it's playing? It's actually working?
It's working.
Wait, I have to join the activity, bro. What the hell?
You can't be like, oh, I can't hear it. What? You want me to start it over?
Yeah, start it over, dude.
All right,
Hopefully
ready?
There's not lag. Yeah, it is. Go.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, play. Play.
Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and be feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and be feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're feeling it right.
Was not ready for that drop. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That one was
Okay.
That one was the brown noise because I almost pooped my pants.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, Puppet Live. That's some good stuff.
Live.
That is some good
Thank you, bro.
stuff right there. That's what we like
Thank
to
you.
see.
Thank you,
That's
thank
for
you.
sure. So
I've done that song many
anyways,
times.
that is how you wiggle your fingers according to the headmaster of Gloving Academy.
Principal. The
The
principal.
principal. All right, sorry. The head. You know, you're not the master of head. Is that what you're telling me? You're not a headmaster.
At the table.
All right. Well, just don't forget, y'all. It is basically a month and a half out of Global Gloving Gauntlet #2, the battleground in California. But also, if you have any desire to learn how to do gloving things, you can either hit up Gloving Academy, which is, run by the boy up there, or You Got Moves, which is, what we do here. So there are options for you guys to learn how to do the finger wiggles. And before we leave, Mr. Puppet Sir, do you have anything else you would like to imbue onto our following here?
Just keep gloving, guys. Keep supporting gloving.
That's right. We need
That's
you.
it.
Without you guys, we are doing this for ourselves in the mirror, which, we might still do that, but it is so much more fun when you guys are here. So,
Sir.
thanks for watching, and do the thing. Tell them it's better to be weird than boring. Tell them that.
Yeah, guys, it's It's better to be weird than boring.
Awesome. We did it. All right. Thanks for watching, y'all, and tune in next week, next Thursday,
Peace.
for the Jest stream there is.